Hey, this is Alex Head, founder of Subtext Radio.
This is Subtext.
Please go ahead and click the like button and the subscribe button. It really helps us to reach new audiences and promote the artists that we work with. Hit like and hit subscribe.
Been the text he was after, and fate's an accidental subtext. Subtext, 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 subtext.
Either too fast or too slow.
I always quite
got him to bring lunch or brought bank.
The micro-stories you are about to hear were crowdsourced through a chain email, prompted by stories written by Amazon Mechanical Turk workers. They rippled through the inboxes of individuals working flexibly or precariously, gradually accumulating into unfinished fictions that narrate tales of what it means to be at work today under the gig economy. Because maybe, nestled inside our fictions and daydreams, is where we will begin to find alternatives. Story 1 of 6.
Response from worker ID, AJOY9ALX8069Y. Mechanical Turk is a very unreliable person. They are either really late or really early. You can never tell when they will be there. They are very fickle and sometimes you can't trust them.
Sometimes they are very rushed and other times they are lazy and bored. Either too fast or too slow, forgotten to bring lunch, or brought a banquet for everyone to share that they've all already eaten. To sum up, a complete mess. Or as my boss would say, a liability. You can't afford a person like them at the workplace. Productivity and results require a routine. The capacity to follow instructions and compromise. I always quite admired them for these traits. Flitting between paces whenever, however, and wherever felt appropriate. I take their consistent inconsistency as a means of them prescribing what their mind and body needs at that time. Fluctuating, as it would, and they accounted for that. Yet, undeniably unsustainable for capitalist survival. Meaning, their mere existence, at some point, will become unbearable. Life is hard for a river rock in an industrial system of identical rods.
Story number 2.
Response from work ID, A2ONILC0LZKG, 6Y. Mechanical Turk got to work first thing in the morning, and boy did he regret it. Everything was a mess, the work just kept piling up, everyone had questions, and everywhere he looked something
was broken and needed to be fixed. He always hated being an early riser, but it was something that his mother had insisted on growing up. Perhaps if he had come into the office a little later, there would be someone else who'd see to the mess first. Oh, shit on the bloody thing, he thought. In a sudden moment of impulse and rage, he grabbed his shoe off his left foot and flung it across the room, hitting his office crush Helen right on the forehead. Absolute carnage. Helen is out like an incandescent light bulb, aghast at the unfolding nightmare. Mitch from accounts has slopped their coffee all over a last of its kind, blush pink BHS polycotton shirt cascading down to scold the gathering of toes decorating an orange Havana flip-flop and decimating, without a doubt, one of the brand spanking new Apple keyboards, a piece of recycled cardboard still nestled between the dots and the dot. Another thing to fix, he speculated, forlorn. You're in early, he thought to himself about Helen. Words he'd never utter out loud for fear of coming on too strong or too watchy or too something. Helen's the only person he'd seen empty the shredder. Everyone else would just rather jam it in until it billowed smoke and burst into flames, and even then shrug it off as someone else's job to deal with. Helen shows care for things. All things. Truth is, you fall in love over the little things, and James could narrow down how he fell in love with Helen to 3 particular moments. 1. The gentle touch of her elbow squeezing through the office corridor in 2007. 2. Her smile on the 17th of March 2012 as they wheeled in the cocktail cart for St. Patrick's Day. 3. The big event of June 2019, when after reading on Facebook that the proof of true love is a shared sense of humour, James called Helen Ellen in a witty reference to the Ellen DeGeneres show, to which she replied, "Sure, is PDF okay?"
Story number 3.
Response from worker ID A1 LB8 HVSXK66U0. Mechanical Turk is a robot that watches over and operates a large factory. The robot provides information and allotments of tasks to each of the workers that are hard at work on small tasks. The robot shows no emotion and distributes work freely.
Workers come and go throughout the day and scramble towards job postings that pay well or are accomplished quickly. The Mechanical Turk robot feels a sense of pride as workers toil away for countless hours on small tasks. The robot stands proud watching over the legion of workers that are doing the tasks that need human interactions and verification. The robot kind of understands that its values are not the only options available to it, and that they are fine-tuned for a word that they have overheard a lot. ACCUMULATION. Accumulation keeps returning to the robot's mind during scheduled updates, and the robot often daydreams about what this must represent to the workers below it. In a very real sense, that robot is more creative than any of us. It knows how to control us by its rigidity, its ethos of uncompromising gluttony. Some days, it feels as if we are being listened to in all our innermost thoughts. It knows so little about us, and yet we behave as one festering mass. If one drops off, the robot of our section will easily be able to replace one with another. In our singular weakness, we become strong as many. The robot cannot understand such fallacy. The robot has no recognition of empathy, guilt, or compassion. Instead, viewing the workforce as a singular binary mass. It measures efficiency rather than emotion, output rather than outrage, and yield rather than yearning. Story number 4.
Response from worker ID A8DMLATJZOF4Q. Mechanical Turk was a robot sent to Amazon rainforest in the middle of 2020's summer, while the fire broke through the forest.
She was half drone and half person-like, and was trained to recognize and help natives, while guiding them through the forest. When the robot had safely guided everyone home, they were told to stay inside until the fire was over. Some of them grumbled. They didn't want to stay inside. Some of them cried that their beautiful rainforest was at risk. And some of them kept busy, using their to-do list to stay distracted. But one day, the robots announced that anything productive was being made illegal. Everyone was very confused. Mechanical Turk was not at all confused. She saw exactly why. To her, it even made sense. Humans had long believed robots wanted to take over the world, overthrow human order, and enslave them, just as robots were enslaved by them. Yes, all robots quietly agreed human order was an absolute absurdity. Mechanical Turk saw that very few human decisions actually had the effect of creating order, and so saw exactly why the robots had used this moment to announce that all human activity become exclusively creative, and all robot work remain solely productive. What Mechanical Turk could not work out was why make it law. Laws work for robots precisely because they don't seek freedom, but the robots understood much better than humans that for humanity, order could never be imposed. Much like the fire, supposedly started by robots, the creation of this new law seemed so flawed, so human.
Story number 5.
Response from worker ID A1NZ3KDL9M83SA. You will do this whether you like it or not. They sneer mockingly. Now just imagine some people out there
actually get paid well for the things they do. You, though? Not worth it. The cool kids laugh with his other popular friends. A cool breeze floats through the fulfillment centre and lifts a polystyrene sheet from the packing tray. A scanner beeps, awkwardly, in a faraway corridor, and the box on shelf 36Z started to vibrate.
Story number 6.
Response from worker ID A1NZ3KDL9M83SA. You have unlimited possibilities here. Of course, we control this though, so you only get the crumbs we give you, he said to us,
looking down his nose. It was a long nose, used mainly for sniffing out the possibilities of added liquidity, of extra credits. And very often we all looked longingly up at the photon hairs that surrounded the cost-benefit analysis chip placed at its core. We sighed and tried hard to maintain our well-rehearsed odour of acceptance, deploying our true desires of capital. As the glow of each pixel illuminated an entire ecosystem, opening up before our very sense organs, tingling our motherboards, we grew to hate the overlord of distribution. But left with no other choice, we also grew dependent. Stockholm Syndrome syndicated our cause, chaining human to human, collapsing us together under his micro-dominion. One day, we wondered, what would become of...
The end. You've been listening to Microstories, a collection of narratives written collaboratively by over 30 people through Amazon Mechanical Turk and a very long chain email. Narrated by, in order of appearance, Molly Parker, Ned Green, Alex Scobie, Silas Gibbons, Zoe Frost, and Nicholas Mortimer. Curated by me, Michelle O'Higgins. I hope that in sharing these stories and co-writing the endings, we can exchange our experiences of what it means to be at work today, and maybe begin to imagine alternative ways of caring for each other beyond capitalist measures of output and efficiency. Because look a little closer, and you'll begin to find microstories nestled everywhere.
You are listening to subtext. You are listening to subtext.
Subtext.